Why, Quark? Why did you kill my baby?
You better hope there isn't a next time, mister. I have cut you a lot of slack in the past. I even looked away once or twice when I could have come down hard on you, but those days are over. Now, we may not be able to get you for selling weapons, but you so much as litter on the promenade, and I will nail you to the wall.
Something to look forward to.
I'll move.
Can you guys hear Jeff?
No. No, we don't hear you, Jeff.
Welcome to D Space Nine at 9-ish. Thanks for joining us as we're here to talk about Season 5, Episode 18, Business as Usual. Although it's not usual.
I called it Business as Unusual.
It's unusual. We're joined by our host, Jeff Mader, who is having some technical difficulties. I'm Dave Mader, and joining us tonight. Oh, there he goes again.
He's gone.
He's gone. I don't know if his audio was ever working. We never actually heard him say anything, did we?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, I guess that was on me to have done a test. Oh, is he back? Jeff?
No.
But we got Kevin and Ashley Millard with us tonight. How you guys doing?
Good.
That's good. We got Davan Skelhorn coming to us all the way from Nova Scotia, and Lacuters a Trek.
I'm here to buy weapons. Are you here to sell them?
Yes, we're here to sell. Jeff, are you with us?
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No.
Okay. Well, guys,
Somebody send Jeff a new microphone.
yeah. Well, we did a podcast last night and it was working fine. So
He's stuck like that now.
too, but you know what? We can keep this moving while we wait for Jeff to figure out what's going on with his technical situation. Guys, we're talking business as usual. A kind of a two-pronged story, mostly focused on Quark, but also a little bit on O'Brien too, and the B storyline. What do you guys think of this episode? Maybe we'll go to Kevin and Ashley first. Kevin.
I like it, but I think all of Starfleet owes Quark an apology.
Interesting.
What are all their weapons for? Are they for mining, hunting?
Defensive purposes only. Especially
Sure.
the photon torpedoes. Okay, so interesting. Do you think Starfleet being a little judgy here?
Yes.
Ashley, what's your take on this episode?
Why hasn't Starfleet figured out daycare?
It's one of
Why
those
is it
unsolvable problems.
They have all these ships that are ships with families on them. They have Deep Space Nine that's got a family. Childcare.
It's hard being a
Problem
working
everywhere.
dad. You know, when Keiko's not around, Professor O'Brien was busy doing something on Bajor. So
This is the first time we've heard her called Professor O'Brien,
Also,
right?
I feel like she should have taken Kiriyoshi with her, because like I feel like there'd be more people to watch him on the planet. And did she not take Molly with her? So why would
Molly went, but she's like, you're on baby duty, Miles.
But he has a job to do.
Well, so does she, and she's not.
Yes, and he was doing that job expertly, suffering. He had to
Miles.
suffer.
Miles.
But I feel
Maybe
like
you should go with
whoever
her.
was watching Molly could have watched Yoshi.
Yeah.
The Petersons.
Okay, let's go over to Davan next. And Sam saying he liked your comment last night over on the Big Brother preview podcast.
I thought you should have been on the cast, Sam. I got your back, bud.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right.
Oh, wow.
What did you figure out what it was?
No, it just rebooted.
Okay.
Seemed to work.
All right, well,
Have you tried turning it on and off again?
That's what I did, and it worked. Okay. Here to talk about. Okay. Well, I was going to say when this episode started was this is the episode where Quark is the arms dealer, and O'Brien plays with a fake baby.
Sometimes a real baby.
Sometimes a real
Sometimes
baby.
a dead baby.
Sometimes a dead baby. He does a whole scene with Jake where he's literally just holding like a football covered in a blanket, pretending that
it's like the most inanimate looking thing, you know.
Why did you kill my baby?
Something Jeff notices as a new father when it's not a real baby that they're holding.
Yeah, and he's going to shush, 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 shush. I'm like, you're not shushing that baby. Get out of here. So that's how I felt about this episode. And then the other stuff with Quark I thought was actually pretty good. For a Quark episode, I actually enjoyed the subject matter. I find most of the time it's very like family oriented, but this one's a little bit more business as usual. So so that's kind of what I liked about this episode so far. What do you guys make of it?
Well, we got Kevin and Ashley's take. Kevin was saying that that the Federation being a little bit judgy, a little bit more
Critical.
highfalutin with their judgment here on Quark. And Ashley was pointing out in the O'Brien storyline that the fact that Starfleet and the Federation can't figure out childcare is kind of ridiculous. Where did Keiko go?
Right.
Why is Molly with her presumably, but she left the baby with Miles? Kira doesn't seem to be helping out. I thought she was part of the family now, sister, brother, something or other. She's not contributing too much. And Jake's no good.
And for the record, Kira Yoshi is the most irrelevant Star Trek child of all the Star Trek children. And that's saying something. Yeah, like he's a baby, but like there's no storylines around Kira Yoshi is all I'm saying, other than this one.
What about Cassidy Yates and Cisco's kid?
Right, that would maybe second place.
First place, even less irrelevant because no storylines around that baby.
Right. Okay, I'll give you that one. I forgot about that.
Well, we didn't get Davin's take yet, so maybe Davan, you want to tell us what you were saying?
I love Quark episodes. Give me a Quark episode. I don't care what the subject matter is. Come to Quarks. Quarks is fun. Come to Quarks. Don't walk. Better get some Latinum for that, man.
Would you like to play some? Was it Tongo? Is that what they play?
Tonga, yeah.
Tonga.
Tonga
Is it Tonga or Tonga? I think it's Tongo. Or is it Tonga?
Tongo. Yeah, you're right.
Tongo.
Tongo, yeah. So the episode starts with them playing Tongo, Dax and Quark, and Quark is very preoccupied, and Dax is taking his Latinum. I don't know. What do you make of this Tongo game? It kind of seems like they're playing like basically poker.
It's like poker mixed with Monopoly or something.
Yeah.
There's a wheel that you spin.
Yeah.
I want one.
It's like Wheel of Fortune mixed with poker.
Yeah, it's hard. It seems to
But
be
like they're buying and acquiring and selling, so it's like the stock market mixed into that.
Yeah.
Like poker
But then
with
there's
the stock
randomness
market
to it
influence.
with the wheel.
Yeah.
right.
So it's like roulette meets the stock market and poker.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's a good analogy.
And Quark is not as good at it as Dax.
Well, that's because Quark doesn't pay attention. He's distracted.
Trying to do his books at the same time. We find out that he begged her to play this, so he could just hopefully win. As like many of these gambling addicts, Jeff, they're always looking for their next fix.
Well, that's it. It's
A
like any
sucker
addiction.
born every minute.
Yeah,
That's right. Including the guy that owns the Tongo board. Because he's a little bit worried that he needs to pay a loan. Is that right?
Well, he's
in debt
he's
from
pretty
a
much
bunch of places.
he's pretty much broke. He says here he's like when he loses this transaction here, he goes, "That's it. That was my last 10 strips of latinum or whatever, and I'm bankrupt."
Shouldn't he be more depressed? Isn't that his whole identity?
Well, I think he's like basically accepted his fate because he basically makes the point that in like within 10 days he'll be killed because of all the debt he owes to like different Ferengi.
Right. So that's why he's so desperate. That's why he's going to go into the arms industry, arms dealing, even though he's a little worried because Odo's always sniffing around. Huh.
It's not a people business either.
It's
I love that
dangerous.
they mentioned that. that he didn't want to do it because it's not a people business. That he just loves people.
Yeah, I'm a people person. And what are you gonna do about that? Okay, but anyway, he lives here, and then his cousin Gala shows up. Jeff, the long teased cousin Gala comes in here. Who I thought, I don't know who this actor is, but he's quite.
I'll
good,
tell
I
you
think.
who. I'll tell you who he is, Dave. Do you know
Who's
Reservoir Dogs?
Do I ever?
And who's the main guy? Like the guy who runs the crew in Reservoir Dogs?
Nice guy Eddie?
No, the older guy. Joe.
Lawrence Tierney.
That's Lawrence Tierney.
No, but he's talking about Gala.
This is cousin Gala. That's not
this
Lawrence
guy.
Tierney.
Oh no,
He's
maybe
like
it's. Oh, maybe I got
That's
that
the
mixed
regent
up.
that comes later. Don't worry, I
right.
got my Lawrence Tierney quotes ready to come up here.
Oh, I was looking up the cast. No, wait. Sorry, no, is Gala the guy that? Oh no, that's another guy.
The Ferengi. This Ferengi I got on screen right now.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about the blue guy.
Well, not him either. He's not. That's
Nobody
not
cares
Lawrence
about
Tierney
the
either.
Bolian.
Okay, no, sorry, I mixed those up. Sorry. Okay, yeah. Okay, so Gala comes in and he's what? He's gonna take all his stuff. Is that what's happening? I'll be honest, guys. I tried to watch this episode twice, but mom came over. I had the baby. I have no idea what happened.
You were like you're like O'Brien.
I'm like O'Brien and I'm like Quark playing the tango at the beginning of the episode. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, well I'll tell you what happens. Cousin Gala shows up and he's all like, "Ooh, a clothed female." But you know, you remember how titillating he says,
Right? I saw that part.
And the look she gives him is very interesting. I find too. It's not quite complete disgust or anything.
Right.
It's
Just a little intrigued.
Yeah.
Because Dax will screw anything. That's kind of her.
No,
character.
she's in a exclusive relationship with Worf. Don't worry.
Right. But in theory, she would screw anything.
Well, not him.
He would
I
have
don't
killed
know.
Gala if he'd even seen that look.
So
Yeah.
cousin
In the end,
Gala
Gala.
did the voice of Raphael in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Josh
Oh my God.
Pius.
Well, there you go.
Oh, it is him. Damn, freak. You got to know what a crumpet is to play
Yeah.
cricket.
That's the line.
Yeah. No, now
That's
that you
hilarious.
put that, you connected those dots for me. That's amazing. Yeah, because you can hear that like that inflection in his voice. Yeah, and he's really good in this because he had been set up earlier as he owns his own moon, Jeff. And then there was that episode Little Green Men where he gives Quark a shuttle, right? But then it's like booby trap to kill Quark, and Rom's like, he never liked you that much, did he? So here he shows up again, and Dax is like, isn't this the cousin that tried to kill you? Davan as our cousin, I'm very glad that you've never tried to kill me, but that's successfully at least. Well, neither is Gala for that matter. He just shows up, walks in, pours himself a drink, and says, "Hey, what's family for? And you want to help me sell some weapons?" And Quark's initially resistant to the idea, but Gala shows him how much money can be made, and considering that he's broke and can't pay his debts, it's quite the proposal for him here.
I love that though. It's just like, I'll never take 5%. He's just like, you'll take 5.
You'll take 5.
Yeah,
When you see
it's
how
such
much
a huge number. Yeah.
And in a year, you'll have your own moon.
My own moon.
My own moon.
Right. So okay. So I guess this episode kind of sets up like the whole idea of like once a normal businessman gets to the rock bottom, has to go bankrupt, and this opportunity of immoral behavior comes up. Should you take it? To pull yourself back out of bankruptcy or like the bottom, and what happens once you do that? Is that kind of the general idea?
I think a little bit. I think it's, we all know that Quark's ethics are not Starfleet's ethics, but, I think it's
dealing in weapons immoral.
Well, I think
Or
maybe,
is it just another business?
Well, see, and that's the same question. This episode reminds me a lot of the movie Lord of War, which stars Nicolas Cage, and that's all about arms dealing. And he has all sorts of different justifications for what he does. He has a line in the movie where he says, I'd rather my customers shoot and miss just so long as they keep shooting. He's like, I don't force them to kill anybody. I just provide them with the means to what they want. Basically. And I feel like that's kind of what Kevin you're bringing up here too. Is like the Federation doesn't sell weapons to people, to protect
Only medical
themselves.
supplies.
Only medical supplies. Yeah, sure they do.
Well, they have
Like,
weapons for themselves.
They don't sell them to other people, but they certainly make them
and use them.
So,
Right.
I mean,
I think they would argue the morality lies on who you sell.
Yes.
right. And Quark, left to his own devices, decided not to sell them to a maniac.
Quark decided that
Good
a biogenic virus that can kill 28 million people was too far for him. That was where
Yes.
he drew the line.
Yes.
That's where he draws the line. He doesn't need a moon if that's going to be the price.
Yeah, he's not killing 28 million. He's like, can't we just wound some of them?
I mean,
Anyways,
About 8 million.
in a few episodes, I mean, Cisco's going to poison a planet, and yet he's being
Yeah.
shitty to Quark here. I mean, they
Yeah, but
all
he gave
still
them a
try-
10-minute warning.
They all still
Lawrence
get
Tierney ain't
their,
gonna give them no warning.
And he
They-
betrayed his uniform.
they all still get their clothes at Garrick's shop after he tried to commit genocide.
that's true.
What are they doing? to Quark
Commander,
here?
I said launch torpedoes.
I love the way he says torpedoes.
Yeah, he has some moments in this episode too. He has a
Worf
couple of
still in
those.
Starfleet after murdering his own brother.
All right,
yeah.
can we
He
talk a
failed
little
at
bit?
that. He tried.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about this? O'Brien has a baby. Completely, it's not a baby.
O'Brien
I
has a
don't-
football
O'Brien has a football covered in a
or
blanket.
a big
That's
burrito,
a package
perhaps.
of rice.
It's a
As a
packet, yeah, that's probably exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you know,
we get a little bit of
It's
Jake in this episode for the first time in a while. I think
it's been like a year. It feels.
I don't know.
like.
I can't remember the last time he was in an episode.
He was
Uh,
in like a couple episodes ago where he was helping somebody for like one scene.
Yeah.
But like he's literally like season 5. He's had probably the least amount of screen time he has the whole series.
He was in the episode where they're doing like interviews, and
Yes.
like Morn is the last one, and it's like his only scene in the entire
Dr.
episode.
Bashir, I presume, which
Yeah,
is 2
yeah.
episodes ago, but he's only in it for a second.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then before that,
The Muse.
The Muse probably is. Yeah,
Well,
the
is
Muse
not
was like 20 episodes ago.
yeah. It's been a while.
Maybe they send him back to school. You gotta
They
go
sent
to
him to
school sometime.
the Pennington school. Perhaps that deferment. I don't
Easy.
know. They could
You know
have they
what's-
could have sent him away to for the amount of time they actually want to use him. You think that they would write him out of the show a bit more, but they don't. They're like, yeah, he's just playing Dom Jot, I guess.
Tom Jot.
Helping with the baby. Here's a real baby, Jeff.
Yes, and then they bring the real baby out, and I'm like, okay, so that whole scene they couldn't use the baby.
Don't give him to O'Brien though.
Yeah.
This baby is never. You never actually see this baby actually cry. Ironically enough, even though it's a baby that won't stop crying, supposedly.
I love this B storyline because the only purpose it serves is that O'Brien must suffer. Like that's it. It's the only thing it adds to the episode.
I think the only thing it adds is
Why, Quark? Why did you kill my baby?
that's the only reason I think it's in the episode, or what the only thing that ties these 2 storylines together at all.
I think what it also adds, and it's unfortunate Jodie's not here, it proves that Worf is a great father and comforting figure for a young child.
Yeah, too bad.
Well, we might have to hear from
That he
Worf,
was
so-
never around.
Yeah, he's like,
For
I
his
always kind
own
of
son.
regretted that, but not really.
He regrets not seeing his own child at that age, but never sees him now.
Yeah,
It's because he wants to be a Klingon warrior.
He had him for a couple of years and then shipped him off to Earth.
true. Which comes back, when I like when Alexander comes back and is
I do
like,
too.
Yeah, screw you. You weren't around.
I think that's actually defensible as a good parenting call. I think that's what I would do. I think the people that take their kids on the crazy starships with them are the crazy ones.
Maybe
They get in so many near-death situations that like probably don't happen on Earth.
Right. Well, like O'Brien, yeah, I think this baby could have died many times in just the short amount of time it's been around, but even when it was still in the womb, whether that be Kira's womb or Keiko's womb. But yeah, it's to me, like, I feel like every time that the O'Brien storyline was coming up, I was like, oh, this is slow. This is slowing the episode down. I feel like you could have given this whole episode to Quark and had more to it. So I feel like this storyline is rushed a little bit. Because of that, but I do like here how Quark's shaking the seats. He thinks Odo is anywhere. He thinks Odo might be the drink. He's like, Gayla's like, we just saw him walk down the promenade like a minute ago. He's like, he's very tricky. Don't worry.
And the thing with like Quark is he has the right to be that paranoid, but at the same time, Odo doesn't even need to do that. He'll just find out through, reasonable detective.
He'll just ask Morn.
Yeah.
No, Odo just wants the mental suffering on Quark that he's inflicting right now, just the constant paranoia. Like, Odo sees that, he's just like, yes, this is exactly.
He just wants him always looking over his shoulder, even if, and he doesn't really ever want to catch him. He kind of says that in another episode at one point. He's like, what would I do with
love? It's the greatest love story. He just always wants Quark to be thinking about him.
Yeah.
I don't think Quark has anything to do with this, but I always investigate Quark.
I believe you know the way to the security office.
It's like, exactly. Okay. Can we talk a little bit about not just there's cousin Gayla, but then there's this other guy, Haggith, played by Stephen Burkhoff, who I call Discount Malcolm McDowell.
No, he's Victor Maitland.
What's he from?
Victor Maitland from
Beverly Hills
Cop.
All right. And he was James Bond. He was in Octopussy as General Orlov in 1983. Also played Adolf Hitler in the TV miniseries War and Remembrance.
Oh shit! I need to watch that.
Hitler. I mean, no Taika Waititi Hitler.
I think that he's. I don't really. I'm not super familiar with this actor, but he is excellent in that. He's one of my favorite guest stars ever.
He kind of looks like
Putin. Oh, he's good. He's good. I was gonna call him Discount Rutger Hauer though, so I think we were a bit off base there.
Well, yeah, like, do you think they could have actually gotten Malcolm McDowell maybe to come in to do this? But he seems dangerous. He seems.
Malcolm McDowell almost played this role. We'll hear about this in Fun Facts.
Fun Facts? He did almost play this role?
Yes, because this
episode he really is Discount.
This episode is directed by Bashir.
Siddig El-Fadel.
Right. Alexander Siddig. And Alexander Siddig's uncle is Malcolm McDowell.
And he's like, why don't you come in and play this? So he got someone just like his uncle.
Well, they both were in Clockwork Orange.
It would be amazing if they decided Malcolm McDowell was too expensive, so they got this guy.
Right.
Dave just nailed it. Dave just nailed it 10 out of 10 on that comment.
Yeah. I believe this guy knew him because they were in Clockwork Orange in like 1971. So like
was he one of the Droogs?
I think so. I think yes.
But
yeah. So anyway, he's an arms buyer, right? He's a buyer. Right?
He's a dealer.
Oh, he's a dealer. He's not a seller. He's a seller.
A dealer is a seller.
He is a seller.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? So Quark has to buy these weapons first, and then sell them.
No.
Oh, so
what's their like salesman?
He's just a middleman. He's just selling this.
Oh, okay.
Right. And using the holosuite. So the weapons don't actually have to come through the station. Like there's no physical weapons here. It's just holograms, and they can show off the weapons and sell them here. They can make the business deals here, but there's no actual laws being broken. But this is what pisses off Sisko and the rest of them here, because he's not technically breaking the rules. And the Bajorans have to look the other way because Haggith helped them during the occupation. Sold them weapons, but they also don't like.
No, gave them weapons.
Just gave them. I didn't even sell them.
He did say something too. Is like sometimes profit's not the most important thing. Sometimes making a friend is more important. And that actually becomes true in this episode. It's a really good episode, right?
Yeah,
true. Yeah, and he starts showing off the weapons here, and he actually like shoots Quark with it, but it's of course with a hologram, so it doesn't do anything. He's like, oh, it even pulls to the right like the real one, you know.
Right.
And they think they're very clever with this whole arrangement, and Quark's liking it. Quark's quite enamored with Haggith and or Haggith, or what is that? How you say it here? But he's like a mobster guy, you know. He's like a dangerous guy that we come to learn more and more here, because Quark's all about business and likes the shrewdness of this guy initially. And Gala's like, I told him everything was your idea because I wanted him to like you. But we find out here Gala's looking to get out too, right? Yeah. Like, maybe Gala's like, the longer he's in this, the less chance he probably comes out alive. I think he kind of knows that too.
And he's trying to pass it off to Quark and get out.
Well, he's trying to kill Quark like a season ago, so it's hard to imagine he's completely altruistic here.
I think they're one and the same thing. Like, he knows that the Haggith is unstable and doesn't like betrayal on any level, and like maybe even retiring is betrayal in his mind. You know what I mean? So he needs to him to be looking at somebody else while he gets out of there, and then Quark can be.
Here's my replacement.
Yeah, kill him.
Well, he tells Quark, "Don't cross me," right?
Yeah.
Don't cross. I'll just tell you something, Quark. Don't cross me. And
disturbingly strange, though. He plays it really well.
Oh yeah.
This is the period where Quark also has the ban from the FCA. He's not allowed to do business with any Ferengis, and Gala's disregarding that as well. He's going against he's breaking Ferengi law by working with Quark.
But it doesn't seem like he has any, like, he's working for this arms dealer. It doesn't seem like it has anything to do with the Ferengi. He's outside of the Ferengi business world, I
guess. But wasn't Quark?
No, because he was still employing Ferengis and using his money on the Ferengi homeworld. And this guy, he's got his own moon.
He's self-sufficient.
He doesn't job outside of, like, I don't think that his boss is going through the Ferengi Business Association.
Maybe not. I don't know. We don't understand enough about it, but like I remember at one point Gala says to him, like, they'll be begging to reinstate your license soon. Right? So because you'll be making so much money. And I guess like if you're in like the Ferengi Commerce Authority, you're gonna get a cut. Like the FCA is gonna get a cut of your profits, like taxes, I guess. And I don't know what benefits that would give you. I guess in Quark's case, Quark and Rom's mother lives on Ferenginar. We don't know what the situation is with Gala. Like, we know they're cousins, but from their fathers or their mothers, we don't know, and what his deal is. But anyway, Gala's a bit more of a risk taker, a bit more of a maverick than your typical Ferengi, at least. Anyway. So Quark's showing off the weapons, Jeff. There's this big tall dude who shows up, and he's like, "Oh,
I thought this was Rene Auberjonois in that's why I just thought he was in other makeup, and it was going to be revealed later because he's like kind of the same height, but no, it's not.
No, it's not. But yeah, I liked this simulation where they were blowing things up, you know. And he's like, here comes the next target, and then it's like this armored guy shows up. I thought he was really interesting looking right before they blew him to bits.
He looks like an Asgardian destroyer.
Yeah,
he kind of does. Yeah, but this is a few years before that, at least about 10 years before that. And he goes, "Oh, nice." No, he has like a British accent. This guy, he's like, "Nice." Yeah, and he's like, "I'll take." Bunch. I like how he just puts the thumbprint down, as to make the transaction. And he's, they're toasting with champagne. Everything, life's good. Money is rolling in. Things are going well for this band of three here.
It's like a showroom. It's like going to convention. Like, oh, I'll take one of those. Okay, well, that'll be delivered to your home address. It's like,
yeah,
like that's kind of what it's like.
Quark also mentions that his holosuites are the best in like the sector. Like that's why the gun pulled a bit to the right, like the real thing. So it seems like, any ship could have a holodeck like this, but maybe Quark's holosuites are just a bit better than a standard holodeck. And in this next scene, Quark goes to see Haggith, and he's like, "Hey, I was just paying off all your creditors." He's like, hey, I would have paid them off. He's like, well, maybe not. I don't know. But because I like to have people who are working for me not distracted with gambling debts or any other kind of debt.
Micromanager.
He's like,
It makes sense though. He doesn't want eyes on him or his business dealings either.
True.
But it also shows you just how controlling he is.
Yeah. Right. And he's like, you'll get your money as soon as like your debts are paid, then you'll start to get your cut of the money. All good. And and then he goes into like nice guy mode. He's like, hey man, and
here's some beads.
Here's what you gives him a gift too, right? Yeah, some beads.
Some Andorian beads, I think he says.
I think they were Andorian glass beads, is what they were, or something like that.
No, I don't want to know what he's gonna do with those beads, but
look at him.
Can't be good.
Put him up his butt. I don't know.
Try and sell them to Harry Kim.
Next scene was O'Brien and Bashir playing darts with the baby.
Right.
I think that's more dangerous than taking them on trips.
What is up with this plot? This whole storyline is ridiculous. Like it's like we can't. Is there no daycare? Is there? He's like, oh, I got to work with the baby. I can play darts with the baby. Is he? What else is he doing with the baby? Is he kayaking with the baby and the holosuite? What's he doing?
He cries no matter. Yeah, the baby cries.
If the holosuites are so great, why can't he just create a version of himself in the holosuite, hand the baby over, and go do his job for 8 hours?
See, you're imaginative. You're thinking. Like, why not just make a holographic Keiko and pawn it off? Here you go, holographic Keiko. Or so holographic him, for sure. Or both.
Might be a lot better than the real Keiko. I mean,
I think we've all discovered, though, that Yoshi would prefer it if it was holographic Worf.
Right. Yeah, you would. Well, we didn't know that part yet. Yeah. Or how he's able to get him to sleep in like that little pit later on in the episode. Just create that on the holodeck.
Just create that on the holodeck.
I don't get it. Like, yeah, there's so many, there's so many opportunities here for them to placate this baby. Just get Julian to give you a sedative if you really need to, figure something out here. Yes, I'm advocating drugging a baby, I guess, but. It's whatever it takes, guys.
Well, if it won't stop crying, I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, he puts down, it immediately starts crying. Of course, we don't see that baby on camera because this baby, I don't think ever did really cry. He's like,
it was just too good of a baby.
He's like, but watch this. If I pick him up, he stops. And I think O'Brien has a bit of a power trip throughout this. He's like, look, I have so much power with this baby.
He looks uncomfortable holding the baby. Even like Jake looked more comfortable. It's funny to watch because it's like this Keiko's doing all the work, for sure. Like 95% of the time. This is the one time he's gonna take care of the baby.
Comment here from Dennis May, Jeff. He's saying Deep Space Nine is the best Star Trek episodes. They have baseball and they have Cardassians and Ferengi and war and Klingons.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot there that I agree with, especially the Cardassians. I feel like none of the other shows utilize the Cardassians like this show did.
Yeah.
Except in there are 4 lights.
There are 4 lights.
Yeah, which is a great episode. It could have been. It feels very much like a Deep Space Nine episode. That one for sure.
Well, it's right when they were introducing like the Cardassians and all that too.
There are 4 lights.
The music.
Anyway, so Haga's girlfriend is giving Umox over here to Quark in the next scene, Jeff.
What does he say? Don't stop until you see smoke. What's that supposed to mean?
The smoke's coming out of his ears.
Is that he's so hot. He's so aroused.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did like how I guess this was a director's choice on the part of Alexander Siddig, or as he was known at the time, Siddig El Fadil. Like just the upside down camera with Odo showing up,
which is a great shot. Actually, probably my favorite shot in the episode.
Yeah, and this is where I pulled that quote from
and
earlier.
Umox is now complete.
Yeah.
I believe you know the way to the security office.
The one he loves showed up right at the end.
Yeah. Quark says, you're not going to make this. You can't get me, man.
None of these charges are going to stick. I haven't broken any laws.
I have a
license to run holosuites.
But not a license to sell weapons, I'm afraid.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, we'll get you for one of the laws you are breaking.
But then Kira's like, hold my beer. This guy basically is the whole reason we exist here. So you gotta do the Bajorans a solid here.
Yeah, the Bajoran was like, yeah, we can't go after Haggath or any of his lawful associates or their lawful dealings. Even though the language she uses here is a bit tough because she's not liking it, but she's got her orders coming up from the Shakar or whoever. Odo can't believe it, and Cisco is pissed off about it too, and so right when Quark's getting all smug about it, this is where Cisco goes after him here. I love it.
You better hope there isn't a next time, mister. I have cut you a lot of slack in the past. I even looked away once or twice when I could have come down hard on you, but those days are over. Now, we may not be able to get you for selling weapons, but you so much as litter on the promenade, and I will kneel you to the wall.
As litter.
Something to look forward to.
Oh,
Okay.
Appreciate you trying to match that up there, Dave.
Trying, yeah. I didn't take as many shots there. And then he's just kind of like, oh shoot, and Odo just gives him this look here. Like, Odo's not he's like, I will get you for littering on the promenade. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Cisco just told me.
Yeah.
And in the next scene, like, they're kind of just saying, like, why do you sell those weapons to those Bajorans? He's like, I knew that the Bajorans would win eventually. I knew the Cardassians would lose because they were overconfident, and the thirst for freedom is good. And sometimes making a friend is better than making a profit. And Gale is like, yeah, it's not the Ferengi way, but it's good business nonetheless. And then this guy shows up, who looks human from what I can tell. He's their old sales associate, Farrak. I think is his name. Farrak. Yeah, and he's like, I heard you messed up the whole deal with the whatever.
Varillians.
Like, the Varillians, yeah. He's like, what are you talking about, Haggath? He's like, you. Like this guy.
You were on Risa.
I was like, we were on Risa. Pleasuring yourself.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. And he's like, you're fired. Throws a Gala with a little wave here. Like, all I can think is Raphael now. Whenever I
me too. He even looks like Raphael.
Dab.
I don't want any explanations.
I don't want any explanations. Get the hell out. Throws him out. And he's like, so sorry about all that unpleasantness. He's like, whatever.
That was quite unpleasant.
Yeah, Quark doesn't give a damn. He's not fazed by it. It's only when he finds out he killed him later on that he's like, oh, that's too far. Firing. I like a good firing, but he wasn't so down for that. And then so Quark's starting to notice that his bar is a little more empty. I guess Bashir and O'Brien were playing darts before the official ban came in here on Quark. But the Bajorans are still going to his bar. We see a Bajoran guy at the end of the bar. So they're cool with it. But no Starfleet or Federation citizens, for that matter, have entered the bar all day at this point.
Well, he was already bankrupt from the bar. It's not like, the arms was bringing in the money.
The bar wasn't making his profit, but now he's starting to make real money, but he's not necessarily happy.
Right.
But he's like, I like Haggath, and he's like, well, I want you to take over for me, cousin. I want to get out. I want you to be my successor, but make sure you don't cross him, because you'll end up like Farrak or whatever his name is. He's like, what do you mean? And he kind of realizes here that like Farrak was killed. He's like, he told you not to cross him.
Is that a Gala head?
Grunt FCA. I've been going over the profits of this podcast for the last 4 quarters. It's pitiful.
Brunt FCA.
Are you filled with coins, Brunt?
You are.
That's liquidator Brunt to you.
And that's gold pressed platinum I am filled with.
Yeah. Can we talk about this next scene where Quark goes to talk to Jadzia, because of all of his Federation friends, Jadzia is the only one he really cares about. Even when he has like his little dream later on, Worf's not even present for it.
He doesn't. No, him and Worf do not like each other.
Yeah, he does not like Worf. But here, Jedzia is pissed off at him. He gets a snail juice, comes over to talk to her. She won't even look at him. She's just disgusted with what he's done here, and he's like, "Listen, the water was coming up above me. I was drowning in debt, and my cousin threw me a life preserver. What do you want me to do?" And she's not having it. The morality of this is not okay. She's not accepting it.
But running off to eat an elderly man's heart, that was fine.
Yeah, because that's the name of revenge.
And the next time you have a problem with me running off on some sort of murderous quest, remember this.
Remember this moment. Yeah. I don't know. So, like, to Kevin's point at the top of the show, like, it did Quark cross a line here? I guess so. Especially if he's selling like viruses and different like really horrific stuff, weapons of mass destruction. I think are
But he has not done that.
Not yet.
What is he doing? Sorry, but what is he doing that like Haggith couldn't do somewhere else? Like I don't understand why the holosuites are so.
Because they don't want to have the weapons there physically, because then they're breaking laws.
Sure, but couldn't he just have a holosuite somewhere else and have the customers come there?
These are the best in the
sector.
sector.
Back to Dave's theory, yeah. These are the best. And like they're a stooge. They think Gala thinks he's a stooge they can use.
Right. Okay.
So she's pissed off. He's kind of like not quite sure what to do here. And then we get this scene in sick bay with Brian, like saying there's something wrong with him. You don't know how to hold him. Like Cole Meany has children in real life, right? Like
I think so.
I don't know.
Not ones that he held.
I guess not one. None that he held. Yeah, and then he starts talking.
This is real child.
In the 20th century, we have things called daycares.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't working out for him. Anyway, so this whole scene I find pretty boring, quite frankly, because it takes up a lot of this episode. Is this O'Brien as a baby, and then back to the Quark story. I love this where he's like, I got all his best dishes, right? I talked to his chef, I got all the best recipes, all these things. They show it, and he's like, he's going to love it. He's like, he's going to like this. He's going to like this. He's like, yeah. Like, of course he will. It's delicious.
I like these waiter guys. They're cool. Look, they're like Remans, but I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Remans. I got like a good shot of like the four of them here. Yeah. So one of them's a Uridian.
They're Uridians.
One's a Bolian. The other two, they're the same species. I can't remember what they're called, but they almost. Yeah, I like how the blue light on the tray too. It's kind of neat.
Yeah, like the set design and the costumes and the makeup, very good.
Yeah, and that kind of transitions into the dinner scene here. Now, Jeff, this is Lawrence Tierney,
right?
The Regent.
Najik was the finest officer I ever had. I took her out of the ranks and made her a general.
You're Mr. Pink.
She would have inherited my entire army. And how did she pay me back? By declaring independence for her home world. Betrayal.
Yeah. This was Joe from Reservoir Dogs.
Come on, you. Cough up a bucket, cheap bastard. I paid for your goddamn breakfast.
You're Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys like to tell jokes and giggle and kid around, huh? Giggling like a bunch of young bros in the schoolyard.
So when he pops up in this episode, I'm like, Lawrence Tierney was in Star Trek. Like he also played the father of Elaine Bennis on Seinfeld.
That's right. That's right.
Only the one time, and famously they never had him back because he stole a knife from like the set of Seinfeld and then denied he stole it, and they wouldn't give it back, and then he was freaking people out. And Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David were like, "We're never working with that guy again."
He needed to shank somebody that day.
And he famously was a bit of like, he had some issues in his youth. He was a bit of a criminal, I think, or something, young in his youth. So interesting character, Lawrence Tierney, the late.
I never guessed.
Yeah, him and his brother. Anyway, so
Couple of ruffians.
They're selling his character is he had like this apprentice who betrayed him, and he wants to kill our whole faction. He's like, I want to kill about 8 million people. Quark's okay initially with killing 8 million people. It's only when it gets up to about 20 million people that he really starts to question this. Not quite sure why, but he's kind of really torn up about this. Biogenic weapons or some kind of things like here, and he's like, "Can we?" He's like, "I came here to buy weapons. Are you here to sell them?" He's like, "Yeah, Quark's just being funny, but Ferengi humor sucks."
Yeah, you got any knives I could steal?
Yeah, can you sell me a kitchen knife?
That's gonna be one of the fun facts later, isn't it? He in fact stole a knife from this set too.
Yeah.
He just, that's what he does.
They didn't notice on Reservoir Dogs.
And then in the next scene, like Quark goes off here to look out the window to really like do some soul searching, and Gala shows up. He's like, "Stop being so judgmental. Stop being moralistic." And he's like, "But 20 million people, man." He's like, "If Haggith heard you say that, he would throw you out an airlock. Like I can't have my handpicked successor having moral dilemmas here." He's like, "Look out here at the stars, Quark. There's half of those stars are fanatically bent on killing the other half, and if one or two of them go out, if those lights go out, who would even notice? When you can if I offer you 100 million bars of latinum, would you really care?" And Quark's not quite sure here. Have these Federation ideals really got the best of him, Davan?
It's root beer, man.
The more you drink it,
it's all in the root beer.
It's insidious.
It's insidious.
And then he kind of like thinks about it, and then he goes into this dream sequence, right?
Yeah, he goes into the dream sequence. He's like, "Hey, Captain, you don't look so good, eh?" And Sisko's retort here is amazing.
That's because I'm dead.
That's because
It walks away.
Yeah, and he's like, "I had my whole life ahead of me. I could have been in way more episodes, but not now, Quark. Not now." He's like, Dax is dead too. Kira's dead. I didn't think he was even friends with Kira.
I don't think he is.
But there's no Bashir in this scene. There's no Quark no Worf.
Why did you kill my baby?
Yeah. How much money did they pay you? Enough to buy a new conscience?
Bashir's behind the camera.
And then this is just the best.
Why, Quark? Why did you kill my baby?
Why did you kill my baby, Quark? Why?
I set him down for 2 seconds, Quark.
Yeah.
At least he's quiet now.
Why did you kill a sack of rice?
It is not his best line delivery. It is really funny.
Why did you kill my baby? And then a sack of rice just pours out on him.
Because he's not holding the baby, he's holding the sack of rice there for sure.
Yeah.
I told you to quiet him by any means possible, but that's not what I meant.
Why did you kill my baby?
I do like this whole like Tonga wheel or like thing here, or the Dabba wheel, I guess, where they look up and he goes no, and then he kind of wakes up in the bar. Not sure. I guess this was his version of like a Christmas Carol, like that. Those were like the ghosts of Christmas coming to visit him in the night. And then we get this scene here where O'Brien's just happy that the baby's sleeping, Jeff, down in this little pit in Ops.
Why is he so far away from it? Like he's up on the upper level.
Well, they're trying to let the baby sleep. They're trying to be quiet. He's like, maybe it's like the hum of the ODN relays. Maybe it's the lighting. I don't know. But the fact is he's sleeping and not crying. And Sisko's like, that's cool, but you can't bring your baby to work. So do something, or take some time off, or do something. Get the hell out of here.
But why? Is the baby in the way?
Sisko won't have it. He doesn't have babies in Ops.
I thought he would, being a single father, he would be a little more a little more accommodating. But no, he's like, no. Fuck your baby. Get your baby out of here.
Yeah. He's like, I don't even
know. Sisko actually does know what daycare is. That's the difference.
Yeah, even Sisko and Dax look a little stunned here. They're like, "Oh yeah, I guess we can't have babies." He's like, "Well, can he just sleep like until he wakes up?" And Sisko's like, fine, but then I want this baby out of here.
Oh, but he thinks about it for a while too.
Yeah.
He doesn't just say fine. He's like,
No.
all right.
He's thinking about saying, "Wake that baby up and get that out of here right away." You know,
get that baby out of here. Even like Dax has got this look of like, you're a jerk. Like, what's wrong with you? Kira's like
to Sisko.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's some looks being thrown around here.
Well, everyone's adoring the baby, like all the Bajoran, workers. They're all like, "Oh, the baby," and Sisko's like the wet blanket. That's like, "Look, we're working here. You know,
we're working here. This is business as usual, not as unusual." Anyway, and then so Quark then busts into Dax's quarter in the next scene to give her his Tongo wheel to like try so she'll be friends with him again. And he's like, "Look, I'm about to go on this crazy mission where I'm going to try to do something," and she's just not having it. She's just like, "No, get the hell out! Don't let the door hit you on the way out. See you never, you friggin' jerk." And she's like, "I'm going in." He gives like this long speech because he wants her to care, and she's just like, "Get the heck out," and she closes the door on him. And that's the end of that. And in the next scene,
they're in the middle of a war. They might want to make friends with the arms dealers, not make enemies of them.
Yeah, they're not having it. They're not having it. I did like this next scene where Quark like sees his reflection in the panel here, and he decides to like have a kind of a conversation with himself. He's like, you know, what's 20 million lives versus doing the right thing, you know, or and he kind of resigns himself to try to do something here. If anything, it seems like losing his friendship with Dax is the most significant aspect of all this, right? More than anything.
Yeah, Dax is the only person he seems to really care about as far as the Federation crew.
I thought it was interesting that they didn't put Rom in this episode, or you know, they're like, it just
or Nog or really anybody connected to him.
Yeah. No, we needed lots of O'Brien and the baby instead.
Right.
And then you know, so Haggith is like, "Hey, do you got that biogenic weapon to kill the 20 million people?" He's like, "Well, I can only get something that will kill like 19 million people." He's like, "Well, 19 million people. I guess I can go with that. That's something." He's like, "We'll give him a 20% discount. It's all good." But this is the beginning of Quark's plan. And he's like, we'll do a demonstration. We'll find a planet with some low-level life forms, he says, so that nobody will miss. This is what their plan was here.
It's like, we'll find a third world country that nobody cares about, and we'll kill a bunch of those people and see if the guns work. That's kind of what he's saying.
Yeah, pretty much. Or, you know, like, let's do our nuclear bomb test in like the South Pacific, where nobody cares who lives in those islands. So it's a bit of that. Meanwhile, this lady, the woman associate here, she was eating these chocolates or whatever throughout the whole scene. And like alien chocolates, yeah. And just like Quark knows he's really playing with fire here, and you really see that a lot in the expressions here in Armin Shimmerman. He pulls out Gala from the Daba wheel. He's like, "Listen, I got a surprise for you." And we meet this general lady here,
Freedom Brigade,
which is Lawrence Tierney's character's like the one he's trying to kill, along with the other 20 million of her faction.
I love it, how cavalier they look.
Yeah,
it looks it looks like a album cover, you know.
Yeah,
they look like a band or something. Yeah,
Four Musketeers.
So Sadiq Al-Fidel was like, "Listen, everybody, you're gonna kind of like lay on the windowsill here, and you're gonna go over here. It's good. You're like the
Will Scarlet over there."
But it wouldn't be the album cover. It would be the back portion of an album. You know, like you know where this is the band. You know, the concept art's on the front.
The guy in the back is definitely the drummer. The guy with his fez up and whatever. So
yes.
Yeah, I like how Gala's like, "You are scaring me, cousin." You know, he's like, "Listen, we're going to sell weapons to both sides here. We're going to make us so much money, they won't even know what hit them." And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" He's like, "Just keep her occupied for 20 minutes and meet me in the cargo bay." Is kind of where they leave it. And they do this weird like hand thing that really stuck out to me as well.
Back of the hand to the front of the hand, and then they kind of do like the Fresh Prince.
Yeah, it was like some kind of secret family handshake or something between Ferengi cousins. Anyway, so back in the cargo bay, I guess this is like 15 minutes later or 16 minutes later. He's they're trying to show Lawrence Tierney I don't know what their plan was here to like use the biogenic weapon in the cargo bay. But he's like, hey, the lock's not working. He's like, well, I need to go get a descrambler. And this is where he's like, hey, Gala has got the rival faction here. He's like, just go in the cargo bay and you'll be good. And so and he leads them just to meet up here and basically start shooting at each other. And
then Quark, Odo in the nick of time.
Yeah, Quark just heads up to the promenade, and we see like the security force go by here, and Quark kind of feels like he's pulled it off here. That he's he's managed to get out of the fire and get them solved to the problems here. We get this final scene with
wait, you're burying the lead here though. Odo and all his deputies were there, and still everyone got away.
Everyone got away. Yeah, I don't understand. Does Deep Space Nine not have tractor beams, or are they just offline all the time because O'Brien's too busy?
Daycare.
Yeah, no daycare. If they got their daycare system under control, they would have a lot more functional equipment.
Maybe they were beamed away. But...
He even had his Starfleet deputies helping him out too. It wasn't just
he had everybody. He had a whole crew. Yeah, like you see how many of them are going. He said, "We have phaser fire in the cargo bay." Apparently, this cargo bay was so destroyed it was going to take a long time to pay it off. And then there's this final scene here with O'Brien and Worf, where Worf's like, "I thought you were going to fix stuff here, man. Like, I thought you were going to fix like the Defiance something or other."
And he's like, Cisco told me, take some leave, so I thought I would. And Worf's like, to take care of your son. It's like, I wouldn't know.
You're a lucky man, Chief.
Yeah.
You're a lucky man, Chief. I thought you were going to...
You may not know how to hold him, but at least you're here.
He looks so awkward holding him. It's hilarious. Yes. Yeah, this whole scene here is kind of like, at least we get some Worf in this episode because he is great for the comedic relief. And this is a kind of a comedic relief episode with O'Brien. And I think they could have used him a bit more with the O'Brien stuff. I think it would have been funner.
Yeah, maybe Michael Dorn was doing something else this week or something because he only comes in here at the very end. And
PNG movies probably he was often doing that.
He probably was. He was probably doing. This would have been probably Insurrection would have been around this time they were making it. So yeah, I could see that. And anyway, he's like, the baby likes Worf, and then the baby's stopping crying altogether, and O'Brien just passes out here. Worf starts telling, he's like, "You're a lucky man, Chief." And he's passed out, and then he just gives Chief the bottle.
Maybe it is good that he sent the child away.
Yeah, it's like, here's your bottle, I guess. He's
hopefully you wake up if something goes wrong with the baby.
Yeah, baby will wake you up. That's how it goes. I'm told.
I'm told. Yeah.
Anyway, so then the final scene of the episode is there's two. This is the second last scene where Quark is talking to Cisco here, and he's like, "You're lucky that you didn't cause more. There were more deaths or something like that, and got a real mess here." He's like, "You're facing some serious charges." He also tells them, he's like, but come on, like, I didn't shoot them. I just made them meet up in a cargo bay, and who's to say what would happen? They're like, hey, Jeff, do you think that should be a crime if you led two rival gangs to meet up on a subway, like in Adventures in Babysitting? Don't F with the Knights of Hell or whatever. Do you think that would be a crime? Are you creating like an explosive situation?
I think you could argue it, but the thing is you'd have to prove it. And what he says here is actually really clever, where he's like, how was I supposed to know that was going to happen? Like he doesn't admit to setting it up on purpose. He acts kind of oblivious, and then really it's up to those people, the parties that were shooting each other. They're
Cisco kind of like accepts this. He's like, I guess. Sure.
Yeah. He Quark's too smart to incriminate himself.
Yeah.
So I actually think he gets away with it. But yeah, should it be a crime? Yeah, but you have to prove it.
Right. And he's like, yeah, you can't prove the intent here. Plus, like, he's like, I think, I kind of did a good thing, eh? And Sisko kind of begrudgingly seems to forgive him. He's like, I'm not going to nail you to the wall for shoplifting or littering or whatever. And he's like, well, you're going to have to help pay for this damage in the cargo bay, though, Quark. Here's how much it's going to cost. You can't really make out any figures on the screenshot here, but Quark says, well, how about an installment plan?
Maybe we could come up with some sort of installment plan.
He wants to finance it.
And I love Sisko here.
Works for me.
Because now he's indebted to him.
Yeah. And then we get the final scene here with Dax and Quark have made up. They're playing Tango together. She's whispering in his ears a lot. It's something.
Yeah.
Keeping his Tango.
And I think what this episode kind of proves is that Quark does care about, I guess, Dax, that more than he does profit. And like his life in general on the station, being the bartender, being the guy they come to for advice and all that kind of stuff.
He's a people person.
He's a people person. He says it right at the beginning of the episode. That's what matters to him, not making money.
Well, both of them, I think. I think he talks about how much he hates the fact that Nogs and Starfleet and all this, but he's changed in these 5 years he's been around, these Starfleet types like Dax and whoever, and so he's come along and he wants his Tonga wheel back here at the end, and she's like, "No, you gave it to me. It's my Tonga wheel now."
Who is Dax?
Who is Dax? Yeah, and so that's kind of like and the episode begins with the shot of the Tonga wheel and it ends with the shot of the Tonga wheel.
Yeah,
nice bookends on the episode, and that's it. That's the screenshots of this episode. Jody wants to know what's this DS9 at 7-ish for Big Brother?
It's the Gorn.
Federation. Children of the Gorn.
Yeah.
It's the Gorn. I love it.
Hey, what's up with the bad guy from Beverly Hills Cop? Yeah, that's right.
Was he in that too?
Yeah, Victor Maitland.
Yeah.
He also was Hitler.
Steven Burkhoff. Yeah. Anyway, so Jeff, you want to tell us about a little bit of some Double F with Jeff?
Yeah, I got a little Double F coming at you here on D69 at 7-ish. Okay. When Quark pleads with Dax inside her cabin, he starts by saying, quote, "Where I'm going, you can't follow. What I have to do alone." And this is from a classic film, Casablanca. It's the words Humphrey Bogart as Rick uses to comfort Ingrid Bergman, Elsa, when she learns that Rick is not going with her on the flight to Lisbon. So,
all right.
There you go. Midway through the episode, Quark is demonstrating a particular weapon to a customer, describing how the weapon is equally effective against moving vessels and surface targets. The weapon is said to be a Breen CRM-114, and this is, of course, a reference to CRM-114 device found in the B-52 bombers in the film Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Which is quite the reference.
Deep cut.
Okay.
Deep cut. Actor Armin Shimmerman has stated that this was one of his favorite episodes. It's always one of his favorite episodes. And he says
he's in it a lot.
Because he's in it. The one is the most proud of doing because his character Quark is faced with a real dilemma and is feeling a real sense of remorse and morality.
Yeah, I think that if this take the O'Brien thing out of this storyline and then beef it up with maybe a couple scenes with Rom in it, or do something more, another scene with Dax somewhere in the mix, I think this could have been a truly great episode.
Yeah. I agree. I think I think this might have changed it too. Alexander Siddig wanted his uncle, Malcolm McDowell, who I previously mentioned, who played Dr. Soren in Generations, to play Haggoth, but McDowell was not available, so the role went to Steven Burkhoff, who was.
I was right to call him Discount Malcolm McDowell.
He absolutely was. Quark mentions his futures in quadrotriticale. Triticale. Okay. A reference to the original series, The Trouble with Tribbles. The Metron Consortium may also be a reference to the episode Arena.
The Metrons.
The Metron Consortium.
So the Metrons sell weapons?
Okay, it's a consortium.
They
Okay.
use them in their arenas.
It's the Gorn.
It's the Gorn.
It's the Gorn.
All right. Lawrence Tierney plays the Regent in this episode. Returns to the Star Trek franchise almost a decade after playing villain week Cyrus Redblock in Next Gen. The Big Goodbye.
Oh yeah, that's
He's in that?
Yeah.
Oh, there he was already in Star Trek before this.
Oh, I'd forgotten all about that.
Okay.
Never mind what you normally would do.
What's shaking, Nick? Okay. Haggis' verbal warning to Quark while testing weapons in the Hull suite is an homage to the 1983 film Scarface, where Paul Sheenar's character warns Al Pacino with a nearly identical threat, though the word cross replaces a much stronger word. I think fuck.
Good option there.
Okay. Gala's speech to Quark, suppose I offered you 10 million bars of gold pressed latinum, is adapted from the Orson Welles' speech in Carol Reed's classic film, The Third Man from 1949. There's a lot of deep cinematic cuts in this episode.
So these writers just picked up, they're like, let's take all our favorite references and throw them into a.
But from movies
really phoned it in on this episode.
From movies
You
from
didn't have to write most of it.
Yeah, like from movies from the 40s and the 50s and the 60s, which is, interesting. Who wrote this episode? I'll look at that.
Bradley Thompson, who went on to do a bunch on Battlestar Galactica as well as David Weddle, who very similar. So both of these guys went on to work. These writers went to work with Ronald D. Moore on other projects after this. They're both working on For All Mankind now, which is the other new Ronald D. Moore series, which you haven't seen. You really should. About space travel, the alternate timeline where the Russians land on the moon first.
Okay. This is an interesting reference, and maybe Dave, since you are a Babylon 5 fan, will know what this is.
Ooh, Babylon 5. I didn't have to bring it up.
It's not a Babylon 5 reference, but it is something that's, I don't know, adjacent. Some of the weapon props from this episode were from the movie The Osiris Chronicles. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It looks just like Babylon 5. Well, because in the way that it looks shitty. Here, one sec. I'll show you.
That was great.
Yep.
Here it is.
Oh yeah, that's Babylon.
It does look like
Babylon.
Babylon 5.
That's Babylon 5.
It's not Babylon 5. That's like the Kmart Babylon 5 or something.
So Babylon 5.
Where's Kmart?
Babylon
5.
That's Babylon 5.
It's
all
not.
the way.
It's not. Don't you be tarnishing Babylon 5 with this nonsense.
Look at them.
I think they use
Oh, that's
that
Babylon
in
5.
Babylon 5.
Oh,
I think it's Babylon 5.
this is nonsense.
Okay.
Nonsense, I say. You got anything else you want to gems you want to share with us?
Yeah, I
This
got
is
two
the
more.
funnest fact yet.
All right.
At a moment at the replicator, Quark orders a double snail juice extra smooth. His brother Rom has ordered it with extra shells in a prior episode.
Gross.
Extra smooth instead
It's like
of
pulp, no pulp.
Or
Yeah,
crunchy
they're like
peanut butter.
crunchy and smooth peanut butter.
It's gotta taste so gross. Snail juice.
Okay, and finally, Worf's ability to placate Kirayoshi O'Brien would be seen again in the 6th episode, Times Orphan, where he would assume babysitting duties.
He delivered Molly. He has a connection to the O'Brien family.
And he has a kid himself.
Well, that's
Barely.
Yeah.
Barely.
Jeremy?
Yeah, Jeremy. He was more of a father than Jeremy.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
All right.
it for business as usual.
All right, let's do our ratings business here, as usual, here on Live Long and Podcast. Jeff, what would you give business as usual?
I'm like a 7.5 on this one.
7.5 from Jeff. I'm going up to 8.2. Jaemeel is not with us. He'll be on later for the Big Brother podcast. Ashley.
I'm an 8.
8, and Kevin.
Yeah, I'd give this an 8 as well.
Davan. Sorry, I got to find yours here. 1 second. All right. Here you are. Davan, what's your rating?
Oh, I give this one a 9. I like this one. I like the O'Brien baby stuff. if there wasn't all that O'Brien baby stuff to warm you up in the beginning, the line later, "Why did you kill my baby, Quark?
Why did you kill my baby?"
For that episode alone, it got over 7 for me.
All right, so the aggregate score from us is an 8.1 tonight. Pretty good, better than last week's. With a 7.2 on IMDb. As mentioned, directed by Sidney Gelfadil, written by Bradley Thompson and David Weddle. This was April of 1997.
Was that their first episode writing? Like, I've never noticed those guys' names before.
No, they in the case of Bradley Thompson, he had written like Rules of Engagement, The Assignment, Business as Usual. This was his third episode.
Okay.
In his case, and for David Weddle, he kind of similar. Like they there seemed to be a writing team. And they wrote a ton of Battlestar Galactica episodes together. They've went on to be in For All Mankind. They've worked on CSI, The Twilight Zone, a couple of things. So,
okay,
good team.
Okay, so next week we will be covering Ties of Blood and Water.
Ties of Blood and Water, which is what?
That's with Dekeni Gamora.
Yes, it's a Cardassian Kira episode where what is she? Does she have to?
He's dying.
He's dying.
Get all this information.
Oh, he's the guy from when they turned her into a fake Cardassian. Remember, he was like the dad, and so they're bringing back. It's like a sequel to that episode.
Oh, gotcha. It's funny how like it's like they had these stories that like we got to get these in before we go right into the Dominion War stuff. You know, it's like even though we kind of kicked off the Dominion War a few episodes ago or whatever, it's we got to do these stories first.
The war has actually not been declared yet,
right? But like it's all been set up.
Yeah, it's amping up, and the war is coming.
The funny thing about this show is you think of the war as being a much bigger part of it than it is.
Yeah, we're almost done season 5, and it hasn't even started.
Season 6 is like pure war, though, right?
Pretty much. The war starts at 6, basically at the end of season 5, right? And then it doesn't end till the end of season 7. So it's a 2-year war. Yeah. But for 5 seasons, it's peacetime.
Yeah,
technically. Jody wants us to know that Babylon 5 is the byway of science fiction. I don't know about that.
It even smells like plastic shoes.
And the Osiris Chronicles is the Kmart.
We'll see.
I think they're just the same show. You know how they'll name the same show something different in different regions?
Yes. It's like in Croatia, Babylon 5 is known as the Osiris Chronicles.
Just like that, guys. Also, you should check out our other Star Trek podcasts. On Monday nights, we talk about Star Trek Enterprise. We've been going through episode by episode, watching them one by one. Jody Simpson, Adam Woodward, Davan Skelhorn often, and Kevin Millard. We just talked about the episode Marauders recently, which I was kind of lukewarm on, but we're going through and we're told eventually really good episodes are coming for
like Minefield.
Oh God,
we already had that one. So if you want to hear our take on Star Trek Enterprise, check us out every Monday night. Also on Thursdays, well, this might be like one of our last Thursdays, at least for a little bit, because tomorrow we'll be talking about the finale of Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
It's the gone.
With the episode 10 of season 1. Jeff hasn't watched any of it yet.
But
not even one little bit.
It's the gone. That's all I've.
It's the gone.
They do that every episode, Jeff. That's pretty much half the show.
That should be the credits. It's the gone.
It's the gone. That should be season 2. Yeah. It should be Space, the Final Frontier. She's like, it's the gone, sir. So tomorrow
These are the voyages of the USS Gone.
Gone. Gone prize. A Quality of Mercy is the finale of season 1. We'll be talking about that on Live Long and Podcast tomorrow night. Davan, Adam, Jody, and Kevin and I, as we're wrapping up this season. But right now we're sitting at an 8.7 for season 1 of Stranger Worlds. Also, you should check out Star Trek Radio Theater, our ongoing series where we do reenactments of the Star Trek scripts. Most recently, we published Darmok, our third episode of season 3, which was recorded back in April and finally published not too long ago with the edited version. Check that out. We'll be looking to do a new one in the very near future. We're just kind of trying to figure out dates and casts and everything else, but watch out for that announcement. And what else, guys? You should check out our Super Mater Brothers podcasting as we've been kicking off our coverage of Big Brother. Sam wants to know, Jeff, if we're ready for tonight. We actually have to run right now because we're basically behind on it. Did we hear the latest Big Brother news? Of course we did. That somebody got kicked off the cast and replaced.
By Sam?
Sam? It wasn't Sam.
Sam, you're finally in? Is that the news?
He's finally... No, you can't be on the American version. But that's what we're covering tonight. The premiere is tonight of Big Brother USA season 24. Check that out. We'll be on with Jaemeel Robinson at about 10 p.m. tonight to start talking about that. Check out our coverage of Survivor and a whole bunch of other shows there on Super Mater Brothers Podcasting. Plus, Trivial Debates, our monthly show where we are with movies, TV, sports, and more. I'm just going to tell you about the next edition we have coming up featuring Jody Simpson. That will be later this month, July 24th, with Jeff Mater, Max Duda, and Chris Murphy competing. Check that out. I think that will be a good one. And also, Davan, you've got your Star Trek podcast, including Locutors of Trek. Yeah, sticker right next to the logo. What you got going on at Locutors?
Might have something going on for Friday. We'll see. Maybe not. Working on it. There'll be something again. I got listeners sending me like screenshots of the date of the last episode released and things like that. So it's probably time to get on one.
No, we never get that. So hey, good on you. And then check out X-Men, the animated series, X-Rated, where you go through with Andre and you rate each X-Men of every episode of that show.
We're in there into season 3 now. Next episode of the Phoenix Saga begins. And then the episode after that, we will have a rescheduled interview with the voice of Rogue, Lenore Zan.
Lenore Zan, former Canadian parliamentarian. Okay, well, great. Also check out the Hellbound podcast with Alex Blackburn and Michael Chan, as well as Let's Talk About Fighting Games with Eamon Mater, also known as Sam Jerka. And I think that's all of them, guys. So thanks for being with us tonight and talking about business as usual here on D Space 9 at 9ish. All right, and on that note, we will we'll take you out on a quote, and we'll see you next time. Live long and podcast, everybody.
But you so much as litter on the promenade, and I will nail you to the wall.
Why did you kill my baby?